I get really passionate about manifestation. It has been something I've been doing since I was about 12 years old without even knowing it. I've just always had this belief that God, Goddess, the universe really wants us to be happy. And just like parents, our mom and our dad, and those of you that have children, you want your children to be happy. You want them to have what they want and to be loved. And I believe in abundance, and I believe in prosperity, and I believe that we are living in heaven on earth. And so, of course, we should be happy. Of course, we should have what we want. And so I've just known that since I was a little girl. And so I've been manifesting my most abundant life for a long time, and without, even knowing about the law of attraction or about all the things we know about today. And so now it's becoming quite popular and more mainstream, which I'm really happy about. Being a conscious creator, creatrix, and a manifester is definitely very much part of being a priestess and being a powerful human being, knowing that we are powerful, that we are gods and goddesses made in the Creator's own image. And so, yeah, we'll get started with a little bit of a ceremony. And whatever you believe in God, you believe in Goddess, you're Christian or you're spiritual, whatever you believe in, this is open to everyone. All walks of life, all religions, all spiritual paths. For me, I believe it's all one. All roads lead to creation. And so, when I'm guiding you on this journey through prayer, through meditation, adapt it to what you believe in and what is in alignment for you. So if you don't feel comfortable having your eyes closed, or you don't feel comfortable praying or meditating, just do it in your own way. I just really want to honor all walks of life and all paths. So on that note, we are going to close our eyes. You can keep them open if you want, but I just love to bring in a safe and sacred space every time that I teach, because I believe that that brings the energy in a very beautiful and sacred way. So take a moment to close your eyes if you'd like to. And I like to put my feet on the floor. I call it Egyptian pose. So you know how the Egyptians sit and they have their feet on the floor, because then you can just feel the connection to the earth. And nice straight spine here. Maybe roll your shoulders up and back. And just as if we were at a yoga studio or a space together physically, the Zoom room is my temple, is my sacred temple that I've invited all of you to be part of. So just as you were entering into a temple space or a yoga space, you would come in and you would respect the space. And so, just a couple things is like, we are all in a community and in a sacred space together. Of course, we're all over the world, but energetically, we're all together. Our energy is together. So as we close our eyes, just imagine that we are in this beautiful temple, in this beautiful sacred space together. And maybe we're sitting in a circle and we're all there together. And in this ceremony, I invite our angels, our guardians, our guides, our spirit team to be with us in this beautiful sacred space. And just taking a moment to breathe, coming in to the space, whatever you need to do to be fully present for this training. Taking a moment to breathe, taking a moment to come into the space, leaving behind the outside world, leaving behind the children and the day that you had. Maybe it was a good day, maybe it wasn't such a good day. Whatever that day was, we're gonna leave it behind so we can be fully present, so you can really take in this awakening, this activation, this transmission, and letting your day go. I'm just going to play my bolt. The conscious creator, conscious creatrix, the manifester. She is one who knows her power or his power. One that knows that we were made in the creator, creatrix's own image. Knows that we are co-creating this beautiful reality. The manifester, the conscious creator, is an energy that knows that there's a dance of co-creation and knows that their dance, her dance, his dance, is part of the co-creative process of manifesting your most abundant life, the life of your wildest, wonderful dream. So I invite you, each and every one of you that have shown up today, I invite you to awaken the creatrix, the creator, the manifester. And may the highest and best good come through what I have to share today. Then gently opening your eyes, coming back to the room. All right. So some of you know me and some of you don't. And actually a lot of you don't know me, a lot of new people here today. You know, I'd love for you to have your camera on because for me, I'm sitting here in a room in Sweden. And when I see your beautiful faces, it just brings so much energy. Oh, thank you, Julia. Nice to see you. It brings so much energy and connection. And a lot of this work is about connection. So, you know, of course, if you're sick and you're not feeling good and you just really don't want your camera on, I would totally respect that. It's your free will, but I would love to see your faces. It just helps. It's kind of like if I was running a workshop in person, and I'd love to see the people that are here. Oh, hello. Oh, nice to see you. Great. You know what we're going to do today is I'm gonna introduce myself and share some stories with you because I teach in stories. I hear someone's story that helps me believe in the magic. And I have had such a magical time of manifesting. And I just want to share a little bit with you so that you can start to understand the process and the journey. And then I'm going to share some very important tips with you, but I'm also going to take you through a process. And that's the really fun part, is actually taking you on a manifestation journey so that you can start manifesting right away. So the first story I have to share with you was when I was about 12 or 13, and we lived in Wyoming. And if you know Wyoming, there's a lot of cowboys, and my dad was one of them, and he always wanted to take me to the rodeo. But I really loved Michael Jackson and Prince, and I wanted parachute pants, and I wanted a spiky Michael Jackson belt. But my dad was like, no way, nope, you can have cowboy boots, but you are not having parachute pants. But I wanted them so bad. So I would lay in bed at night and I would say, God, and back then I was Christian. So I'd say, God, please bring me these parachute pants. And I would ask with so much gratitude. I'd say, thank you. I love you so much. I love you. I really want these parachute pants. And then I would visualize them. And I'd visualize these parachute pants and I would feel like I had them already. Like I'd be running around and I had my parachute pants on and I was so happy because I had these parachute pants and this very particular red spiky Michael Jackson belt. Okay. I saw it at Kmart or something and I was like, I want that. But my dad was like, no. So I just kept visualizing it. I kept praying. And it was about a week later, a friend of mine, a friend of hers, gave her the parachute pants and she didn't want them. So I ended up with a black pair, a gray pair with black zippers, and a white pair with red zippers, and the Michael Jackson spiky belt, the exact one. And that was when I really started to go, oh my goodness, God really wants me to be happy. And back then, I was really young. I think 12 or 13 years old. So I thought I was being a good little girl and that I was rewarded and that I asked for what I wanted and I got it. Well, I have story after story after story about getting exactly what I want. And that's really when it started. And so, when I teach in stories like that, it's understanding that there's this co-creative process and this co-creative relationship with the universe, with God, goddess, whatever you believe in, where it's listening. Everything is energy. Einstein says everything is energy and that is that. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So, what I was doing, they talk about it now in law of attraction and manifestation, is you put it out there of what you want. You feel like you already have it. And then you have gratitude around it. And then it's just going to show up. And so that kind of began my journey. And then when I was 22, I think I was 22, I really wanted a partner. And so I literally said outside in the backyard with my girlfriend, I was like, okay, I really want a man that plays the drums, a man that plays the flute, and he's going to look like Jesus. And I want to travel all around Portland with him, and he'll play the flute and the drums, and I'll belly dance, and we'll create this tribe. And that's what I want. And I put it out to the universe. And a week later, he turned up. He looked just like Jesus. He played the drums. He played the flute. He played my Native American love flute and looked me deep into my eyes. I didn't even know you could play it. It was a ceramic, like Native American love flute. And I just totally fell in love with him. I was like, oh my goodness, you're my manifestation. And, I got exactly what I wanted. We ended up creating a tribe called Mystic Tribe and performed all over Portland. And he played the flute, played the drums. We called it Mystic Tribe. I was the belly dancer, and that was when I was 22. Well, that didn't work out so well because I left a lot of things out on my list. So then I created another, man, and he looked just like the postcard. I had the postcard on my altar. I wanted him to be a professional dancer. This time I wanted him to be faithful to me because the other one was cheating on me because I didn't put that on my list. So I put faithfulness on that one. But then there was a whole bunch of other things I left out as well. But I got exactly that guy. And he looked like the guy on the postcard. Like, I mean, literally, exactly. Yeah, I got exactly what I wanted. And so, I want to make this point that manifestation is real. You can have exactly what you put out there. But the thing of it is when you put it out there and then you get it, if you're not really clear on what you're wanting, it may not be what you want. It may not be what's good for you. And so I have been manifesting so many things and I've learned so much about the whole process. And so the first tip that I want to share with you is being really, really clear on what you want. So write that down in your journal, really crystal clear on what you want. Now, forgive yourself when you do get exactly what you want, and then it's a whole learning curve, because that sometimes is part of the journey. And when I say manifesting like a Jedi master, that's what I mean. And being a Jedi master, you master it as you manifest, as you're on this journey. And this really is a pathway. It is my spiritual pathway, manifestation and being a conscious creator. And so sometimes we do need to manifest the things that we don't want in order to learn what we do want. And so, don't sit in judgment of yourself if you do manifest things and you get exactly what you thought you wanted, and then it's a whole learning curve. Because I will say that even though I got what I wanted and then it ended up being really messy and really painful, that I learned a lot through the whole journey too. And so, I don't want you to be so afraid that you don't manifest. However, I will say that after I had these 2 manifestations go really wrong and messy and painful, that I took a year off manifestation completely, and I worked on my healing. So this is the other thing I want to share with you, is that because we are all energy, what you're putting out there energetically, you will get back what you feel you deserve. I need to drink some water. So I see a hand up. Do you have a question there? Clapping. Oh, good. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Yes. Love it. Are there any questions at the moment? Yes, Earth School, full of lessons. It's been an interesting journey, but the reason why I want to teach this to all of you is so that you can avoid some of the mess. And even though at the same time that I'm in acceptance of the, things that I've manifested that haven't gone according to plan, and I've learned a lot, if I can teach you and you can avoid some of the heartbreak and you can avoid some of the painful lessons, then that's even better. So, getting into a relationship, or even buying a house, or getting into a business arrangement, and then having to get yourself back out of it can be very difficult. It can be very painful. And so, what I say to my clients, and I'm saying to all of you, is get really clear on what you want before you decide to start intentionally manifesting. And that's the conscious creation part of it. So the manifestation, let me define this. The manifestation is when you actualize it. That's when you make it a reality. That's when you make it happen. The conscious creation part of it is when you start to get really aware and you consciously start to create what you want to manifest. So you want to put together a plan. And I took a year off manifesting because my clairvoyant psychic, she said to me, "Oh, Schamet, you are so good at manifesting, and you just manifest like that. I've never seen anyone manifest as fast as you do, but it's a bit scary because I was 22, and you don't really know what you want at 22. You think you do, but you don't really." And so she says, you just need to take a break and not manifest for a while and work on healing yourself. And so this is the next thing that I want you to write down in your journal, is work on healing yourself before you decide to start manifesting. And here's why. Your energy, everything is energy. If there is a part of you that still has not healed your inner child, hasn't healed from maybe a traumatic upbringing, and you've got these wounds, well, then you're going to try to manifest, but you're manifesting from a wounded place, or a place of where you're not whole and complete within yourself. So you'll manifest that man, but he will have all the unresolved issues that you haven't worked through. And I know this. Yeah, can I get an amen? Let's put some hearts in there. Yeah, it's happened to me. The second partner that I manifested, my mom said, oh, he reminds me of your stepdad. And I was so angry at the time. I said, oh, he's nothing like him. But actually, in retrospect, he did have the energy of all the unresolved issues that I had with my stepdad. And so I had manifested him to heal that. And so I did. I took a year off. I was like, okay, I'm just going to work on myself. And I learned to love myself. I worked on self-confidence, self-worth, healing my inner child. Like I did everything under the sun. I worked with a therapist, a clairvoyant healer. I did workshops, I did trainings, like I did everything. And I stopped dating for a while. And and so this is what I wanted to say is that actually it wasn't wrong that I manifested these two men, because it was a mirror to show me all the work that I needed to do. And so it was all perfect. And so this is where, I want to say it's not black and white thinking. It's not like good or bad, even though I say it was messy. Life is messy sometimes. And within, Tony Robbins and Dean, they both say, in your mess, you find your message. And within my mess, I found my message because I learned that how to manifest like a Jedi master. And now I teach others how to do that. So it was all perfect. So when you do start manifesting and things maybe don't work out according to plan, know that it's all actually perfect. Within the imperfection is perfection, always, 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 always. So I want to share another story with you on those lines. Is fast forward many years. I had flown to Bali and I led a retreat there, a Manifesting Your Most Abundant Life, with 13 women. And it was a dream of mine, and it was incredible, and it was so magical. And it was one of those things I really wanted to manifest, and then I manifested it, and it was a dream, and it was beautiful. And but not everything went to according to plan, because it never does, because welcome to life. And this is what I want to really pass down to, is the manifestation journey. It's a process. It's a spiritual journey. So a lot of it will be like, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted to manifest. But then there's teachings, and there's things that happen, and it gets messy, and sometimes it's painful, and sometimes you think, what, I'm in paradise, but things still went wrong. Well, welcome to life school. This is all part of it. So you'll be manifesting your most abundant life, but it has all these other facets. And sometimes you don't know it at the time. And, I get a lot of people that get upset with the manifestation process because all these other things happen. But you're constantly learning and growing. And if you were sitting on a tropical island drinking a pina colada and everything was perfect, you wouldn't learn and you wouldn't grow. And we're here to learn, and we're here to grow, and we're here to become more wise. And so sometimes the messy stuff that's unexpected and is like a zigzag and it goes a little crazy at times is exactly perfect too. And so write that down. Your mess is your message. Your mess is your growth and your wisdom. And you get growing pains, but this is part of it. This is part of the journey. And it's not that you've done anything wrong. Again, I want to reiterate that it's not black and white. It's not like this is good and this is bad. It's a journey. It's all part of it. And so I'm coming back from Bali, and some things went wrong, and I was really upset. And you know how when everything is beautiful and everything is perfect, but there's that one thing that went wrong, and then we just dwell on it. Well, I'm not perfect. and I was dwelling on it, and I was marinating in my mess. And I'm on the plane and I'm like, everyone always steals from me. Everyone always takes from me. I'm so sick of it. And I was in this real stinking thinking negative, loop in my mind. And it was part of my childhood wounding, okay? Because I'm still working on healing everything. And so when I get to Wellington, New Zealand, on the other side, my handbag and everything got stolen. And I had 30 pieces of beautiful jewelry that I had designed and made while I was in Bali. And they were beautiful pieces, and all of them gone. And here's the thing. I was marinating on everyone steals from me. So of course my handbag got stolen. So this is the important part to remember, is that if you're manifesting all the good stuff, you're also manifesting all the other stuff too, because everything is energy. And so you really want to work on your mindset and write that down. Mindset is everything. What you think, what you feel, your energy of what you're putting out there, you're going to create. And that was a powerful lesson for me. It was like, oh, wow, I teach about this. I know this. But it was so, it wasn't one of those, I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to put it on my altar and I'm going to put it out there. It was just a loop in my own mind, in my own energy. And energy follows energy. So of course, that's what happened. Now, I'll share another story with you. And this is a bit of a tragic one as well. But the biggest, most tragic things are the ones that really wake us up. And I really wanted to have natural birth. Really, really wanted to have natural birth. I had a 3-page long birth plan of how I was going to give birth. But my big fear was being rushed to hospital and having C-section. Well, guess what? I got rushed to hospital and I had C-section. And I worked with a hypnobirther. And I had this epiphany. I said, oh my God, if I'm manifesting all the good stuff, did I manifest that too? And she looked deep into my eyes. She says, well, what do you think? I said, I think I did. And so, you have to take full responsibility for the things that you do manifest. And part of that manifestation was being in so much fear. Yes, I wanted this and I wanted that, and I was very clear about what I wanted, but I had not released the fear of birth. And this is a pathway of birth, if you think about it. In the 7-week journey through manifesting your most abundant life, I work with women and men for 7 weeks, and we give birth to what we're manifesting. And we start by bringing that idea down, and I'm going to share a process with you, and we bring it down and we give birth to it. So if you're holding a lot of fear, if you're holding limiting beliefs, if you have blocks, if you have unresolved issues, that's going to be part of whatever you're birthing, whatever you're manifesting. And it's all part of it. So my second child, same thing. I'm like, okay, now I know that I created that. This time, I'm going to give natural birth. I'm going to do it because now I know that I did it, but this time I'm going to do it. And you know what? I almost did. My water broke naturally. I had I had to go to the hospital because when you have one C-section, you have to go to the hospital for the second one. But I was going to do a water birth. The baby's head was engaged. I dilated almost all the way up to 8. Baby, the nurse says, oh, he's got so much hair. And I was about ready to give natural birth. So I did a lot of work to release my fear, and I was almost there. And then I got rushed into another C-section. And I thought, maybe I need to just stop teaching about manifesting because I can't even do it with what I'm doing. And I almost gave up on even being a teacher for manifesting. But here's the interesting thing. My mom called the next day and she says, honey, I have something to share with you. And listen to this, really listen, because this is a really important part of the whole manifestation process. She says, last night I was watching this movie and I knew that I had to pay a very close attention to it for some reason. And she says, and honey, it was your birth story, exactly your birth story. And I thought about you and I knew that I had to share this with you because it happened exactly the way it was supposed to. You did not fail. You were supposed to give birth in this way. And she was right. She was right in that sometimes, no matter what you want to control and you think this is how it's going to be. And when I say this is a co-creative process and journey, it's co-creative. You don't have complete control. And if anybody tells you you have complete control, run the other direction. It's co-creative. And that was my big lesson. It's like, okay, what are the chances that my mom watched a show with my exact, to every detail while it was happening? We figured out that she was watching it as I was going through it. And it was I'm not going to go into all the details of what happened in that emergency where I almost died and my child almost died, but it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. And guess what? At the end of the day, I had a healthy, beautiful baby and I got to live and my child got to live. And so what if it wasn't all natural? Like sometimes we get so attached to things going exactly the way that we want. And this is part of the journey, is how can we surrender and let go? How can we surrender and let go to the highest and best good? It may not be the way we think we want it, but we're always going to get exactly what we need. And this is a very important part, is being unattached, being in a place of surrender. And so this is another story I wanted to tell you, is I had a Nissan Pathfinder and this big old truck represented my solar plexus. It was my power. And it was like my manifesting mobile, and it was a Pathfinder. So, it was very symbolic of finding your path. And I'd always say to my clients, I help you get into the driver's seat of your life so you can be in the driver's seat of your life and you can be in your power and you can make your dreams come true. Well, one day I got locked out of my Nissan Pathfinder because the battery in my little key thing stopped working and I couldn't open the door. And I'm locked out of my Nissan Pathfinder and I have to call a friend. And I called my friend and I said, I need help. She goes, oh, but you're the manifester, because she jokes with me. And I said, you know what I've realized? And I joke with her because she picks me up. I'm in her vehicle. And I said, you know what? This is a lesson from the universe that we're not always in the driver's seat. We can't always be on the driver's seat. And sometimes we need others and we need people to help us and support us upon our journey. And, this is another part of it, is having community, having support, releasing the need to be in control all the time, because you actually start to block the co-creative process when you're in control. And so write that down on your list too. And another story about that is, so I manifested the first partner, I manifested the second partner, I took a year off, then I created another list, and it was a very long list. And my friend Steve, I hadn't created the list yet. No, that's right. My friend Steve, he was 70 years old. He said, darling, 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 obviously you're very good at manifesting, but you really need help. And I said, oh, Steve, he goes, I mean it. When you make that next list, I want to go over that list and make sure you've got everything on there. So you call me don't manifest without me. I said, okay, Steve. So I did. And he wasn't a life coach, but he was my coach during that time. And he reviewed my list. And sure enough, he says, you forgot this and you forgot that. And you need to put that on the top and you need to do this and you need to do that. And he coached me through the whole process because we have blind spots. We have blind spots where we don't see our shit. We don't see our shadow. We don't see, well, they're blind spots for a reason. We don't see them. And so, you know, it's so good to work with a guide or a coach or someone that can call you out. And he called me out. And I was very defensive at the time. I said, because he said, you need to put financially independent on there. I said, Steve, I don't care about money. I don't need all that. He goes, well, clearly you don't care about money. The last two guys have lived off of you. I think you need to put that right up there on the top. I said, Steve, no, I'm not putting that up there. And he goes, I'm not asking you to put multimillionaire on there. I'm just saying financially independent. You know, do you want to keep having these guys mooch off of you? And I said, oh, yeah, no, that's true. And he goes, wouldn't you like a financially independent man? And I said, well, yeah, actually, that would be kind of nice, wouldn't it? And so, you know, I warmed up to the idea and I didn't put multimillionaire on there. I just put financially independent. And he says, and you need to put it right at the top. And I was like, oh, Steve, true love's at the top. He goes, okay, well, just put it close to it. And I said, all right, all right. So when my guy really did turn up a year later, he was everything on my list. And I've now been married and with him since 1998. So a long time. And we do have true love. And he is financially independent. And he's a great man. And he's everything on my list. But it wasn't just because I got clear on my list. It was because I did the healing work. I really, truly did everything within my personal power to heal myself. And so I really want to make that clear that that's so important. And, you know, I'm offering this free manifesting workshop to hopefully have you guys join me on my 7-week journey through manifesting your most abundant life. And I'm going to do a mini process with you today. And so as we go through this process, just know that it's kind of like the little appetizer that you get before you have the main meal. So it's going to be a little mini version of what you're going to get in the whole 7 weeks. The 7-week journey is going to be starting up. Oh, I can't remember what date I put on it because I'm in the middle of moving from Sweden to New Zealand, and it'll start once I'm in New Zealand. We're moving January 8th. So very excited. Manifested living in Sweden and now manifesting living in New Zealand, which I love New Zealand. But the dates are on the site that I'll send to all of you, and you'll have the links. I'm also going to offer it for $695 if you do sign up for the 7-week journey with me. Then you get a one-on-one for free with it. And the price will go up later on to a little over $1,000. So you're getting it for half price and a one-on-one with me. So it's a very powerful, powerful journey where we start from, we go through the chakras. So we go through from crown chakra and all the way through the chakras. And it really is like giving birth to your creation. So let's go ahead and go through a mini process. And maybe before I start the process, are there any questions about anything that I've talked about so far? Yeah. Have I overwhelmed anyone? Hopefully not. If you have not lit your candle yet, light your candle. Yeah, if you've got your candle there, light that. And when you light your candle with the intention of our process and our journey that we're going to go through. I've already lit mine with the intention of healing and love and connection with each and every one of you. It was my dream to live in Island Bay, and I would drive around the bays and I would just visualize living in Island Bay and living right next to this beautiful white lighthouse. And I would just dream about it. And for it was about maybe 13 years. I would just drive around, go, oh, I want to live right next to the white lighthouse. And there's a little island in Island Bay. It's so beautiful. So I'm in front of the island in Island Bay. And I just put it out there. God, Goddess, Spirit, angels, guardians, guides. I bring everyone in when I pray. Thank you so much for my life. Gratitude is a very big part of it. So thank you so much. I really, really want to manifest a house in Island Bay because my husband said, okay, we're going to buy a house in Island Bay. It's time. I said, oh, good. I've been waiting. So, okay. And I put it out to the universe. I want this and this and this and this. And I said, exactly, everything I wanted, down to half new, half old, modern kitchen, modern bathroom, some work to do on it, but not everything. And tsunami safe zone, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I mean, I had a very detailed list. Okay. It was a long list, just like manifesting my man. It was pages long. Then, because I know now, get really clear, crystal clear on everything you want. So I don't leave anything out now. So I had this long, long list. And I mean, God, the creator, must go, my goodness, she's demanding. But you know what? I deserve it. And this is the other thing you need to put on your list, is knowing that you deserve it. And I just know that I do. And, some people might think I'm a bit of a peacock, but you know what? I am a bit of a peacock, but a peacock's an animal, and it's a beautiful animal. And why can't we have what we want? And why can't we be beautiful like a flamboyant peacock? So anyways, I did my peacock number and I shimmied my feathers with lots of gratitude and love. And I said, and can I have this view? I would love this exact view. Like what this view would just, oh, yes, please, please, this view. So I go home, and I'm not kidding. I go home, it's about 45 minutes later, because we live 45 minutes from Island Bay. I check my email, and there's an email from a real estate agent, and she says, how about this house? And it was everything, every single thing on my list. And it was also right behind me where I was. It was literally right behind me. And not only that, it's right next to the white lighthouse. So I got everything that I wanted. And then the other thing about this, that turned up 45 minutes after I said the prayer, and we still own that house. We will never sell it. And that's the house we're moving back into in January. So I'm so excited. We've had it rented out for 3 years. So the other thing is the white lighthouse is right, like on the property. So it's right next, the land next to the white lighthouse we own. So it's like such a dream come true. And it did take time. And this is the other thing I want to share with you, is sometimes you're putting your order in and you're putting it out there of what you want to manifest. And you're like, why isn't it turning up? And people get really impatient with the process. But trusting the process, trusting the journey, trusting that you will get what you need. It might not always be exactly what you think you want, and sometimes it is. I mean, oftentimes I've gotten exactly what I want, but I always get exactly what I need. A lot of people that are teaching manifestation out there, they leave out the process and the journey. And I don't like if you go to a restaurant and you put your order in for your meal, we're not just do you go to the chef and go, body and spirit, when's my meal coming? When's my meal coming? And life is magical. And you got to trust that they're making it. I mean, unless it's like they forgot one of them, you need to remind them that they have, or why maybe they did forget to make your meal. But most often we get impatient with the process and the journey. And so being in a place of trusting divinity, trusting the journey. That was amazing. And here's the mess part of it. Remember how I keep telling you about the mess, is that my husband and I went and looked at the house the next day, and everything's perfect. and everything is on our list. And him and I are giddy, like, school children going, oh, it's our house. But we're trying to contain our glee so the real estate agent doesn't see how excited we are, because we know the prices will go up. So we're trying to be like really like calm, but inside going. And so when she left the room, we're like, and then we go down underneath the house, and the whole thing was a disaster. It was a total money pit disaster. The whole thing needed to be repiled. The foundations of the home were completely messed up, and the house was not on the market. It was private. And so she sent it to me knowing that I was looking for a home, but I was wondering why nobody else was interested in it, because it was such a great house. And then there was just this one metal rod holding up the whole living room. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, and I was like, God, I was so upset. I was like, God, Goddess, what's going on? Why have you done this to us? And I went into this like victim mentality about it. And I'm in my Nissan Pathfinder, and I said, come on, tell me, is this really our house? I want to know right now. Give me an answer. And this little black car pulled right in front of me, and the license plate said house for you. House, and then a 4, and then you. And I was like, well, that couldn't be any more clear. When we ask, we get the answer. And here's the thing. We had to rebuild the whole foundation of the house. It was our house. We had to do it. And we rebuilt the foundations of our life as we rebuilt the foundations of our home. Metaphorically speaking, it was exactly what we needed to go through together as a family. And we rebuilt the foundations, and we got our dream home, and it took a lot of work. And so this is a misconception of manifestation, that people think you're just going to put it out there and it's going to arrive on a silver platter. And sometimes it does. I mean, it pretty much did, but we also had to do a lot of work as well. And so, we when we do the 7-week journey, we visualize, we dream, but then we have to do the work in order for those dreams to come true. So there is work that also needs to be done in order to manifest the things that we're wanting to manifest. So is there any questions about that? No? Yeah, I have so many stories like that, so many stories. And we still own that house. And the foundations were rebuilt the day before one of the big earthquakes in Wellington. And the builder said, I was going to take a break and have a beer, but something told me not to, that I needed to keep going. I said, well, I'm so glad you listened to your intuition. And the house is rock solid now. It's a very good house. And you know what? If it was absolutely perfect, we might not have been able to afford it. And so everything happens for a reason. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. I love seeing your beautiful faces. Love, love, love it. Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll get started with the process now. It's good to have these stories, though. I know I learned through stories. I love Tony Robbins, and he's always got such good stories that I learned from. So, okay, we're going to go through a process. So go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable. And on your, in your journal, write down something that you would like to manifest. Now start with something small, just something very small to start to test the waters a little bit. And write that down on in your journal. And then take a moment and close your eyes. You're going to call on your angels, your guardians, your guides, your spirit team. And if you don't believe in anything like that, you can call on your higher self. And just start to connect with whatever it is that you you connect with. I connect in with the goddess, the creatrix, my angels, my guardians, my guides, my spirit team. And again, in this sacred circle, we're sitting in this beautiful sacred circle together. And as you start to visualize it, bring it into your third eye. So this area right here between your eyes, and just start to visualize and see it. And as you see it, start to see it as it's already happening. So whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, start to see it and start to see yourself. So if you're wanting to manifest a partner, for example, okay, we're going to go with that as an analogy. If you're wanting to manifest a partner, start to visualize that man or that woman that you're wanting to manifest in your life. And it's like building a house. When you're going to build a house, you visualize what you're going to build. Anna Dea Judith is one of my mentors, and she uses the metaphor of building the house, and I love it because it's so relatable. And so you start to visualize building that house and what that house is going to be. How many rooms is going to be in the house, how many bathrooms, where it is it by the ocean, is it by the sea? And the same with a partner. You start to, build your dream man or woman in your mind, and just start to see it and start to see yourself with that man or that woman. Or if it's the house, start to see that house. Whatever it is, start to see it. Start to see yourself in the story. And start to notice what you see. Remember, this is a co-creative journey. So as much as you're creating, start to also notice what you see. And then we ask for the highest and best good, the highest and best good for this co-creative manifestation journey as we conscious create what we want to manifest. And if you start to see something that you have not created, write it down in your journal so you don't forget. And I'm doing this with all of you because it brings in a lot of magic when we do this together energetically. And then we're going to bring it down into our throats here. So we're going through the chakras here. We have we brought it in, we visualized it. Now we're bringing it into the throat area. And this is the part where we talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to invite anyone that wants to share what they're seeing, what they're visualizing. If you want to share, go ahead and share. You can take yourself off mute. Julia?
Yeah, my manifestation is time to do writing. I'm supposed to be sharing my gifts. I'm a CPA in a small town, and I used to write a newsletter. And it would be along the lines that you're talking about, not manifestation, because manifestation was always one of those things, like you're saying, it had the wrong purpose, it had the wrong energy in it for a lot of years. But it's to bring awareness that we are responsible for our lives, it's not an other outside causing us to have these problems. So I'm manifesting the time from 9 till 11 at night, after I'm done with my other work, that I will be doing the writing that I'm supposed to be doing. And it feels right and it feels good, because it's bringing out my gifts in a gentle way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That is so important. Yeah. Yeah. And that you're making time and taking that time, like, this is where I'm going to do it, because we can build castles in the sky, but how are we then going to build those castles? And that's the, bringing it from this airy fairy dream state to reality. And in order to bring it to reality, you have to make the time to do the writing. And yeah, and take the responsibility for, we can consciously create all these dreams, but then how are we making them come true? And so I love that. Yeah, I love that. I love that share. Yeah. And, for the longest time, I was too afraid to talk about my dreams. And I'd keep everything contained within me, be too afraid that someone will just take from me. And I realized that actually, yeah, people take from me all the time, but I'm okay with it now in such a different way, because I'm not in that scarcity mentality that I was in before. And so when we can talk about it and we can be in a place of abundance, this is manifesting your most abundant life. So what is abundance? Abundance means there's no scarcity. So if someone takes something from you, that means they've been inspired. And so now I know that as a leader, people are going to go, oh, that's a good idea. And then they're going to, and they're going to do it their own way. And so when we can start to open up the throat chakra and just be really open and free and in a place of abundance, there's no lack. No one can take from me of what I have, because I am me. I'm like, no one can take me, right? And each and every one of us has a unique brand of magic that we have to bring to the world. So Julia, you're going to bring it with your writing. Beautiful. That's wonderful. And if everyone can be in a place of abundance, can you imagine how abundant and beautiful this life would be? Instead of being in these little like shells and being like, mine, the new paradigm is like, how, right? How big,
Yes.
open and beautiful can we be? And
that is the new paradigm. That's what I wanted to, and it's almost here. And if I don't share,
we're creating it.
I'm holding it back.
We are creating
it. Share. And so, yeah, the I is we is me, So, yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful. Is there anyone else that wants to share? I'll do one more share before we move on. If you want to share. If you don't, that's okay too. Oh, okay, good. All right. Yes. And just talking about that. And remember again, with the manifesting journey is that being in a place of non-attachment is so key. I'm not sure if I talked about that yet, but the Anodea talks about the demon of the crown chakra is attachment. So we want to let go of attachment. And that's really difficult to do when it's something we want so much. And when I manifested my third partner, which is my husband now, 3 times the charm, I had just forgotten. Like when I did my healing work and I had healed myself and did my inner child healing and self-love, and I married myself, and I was in such a great place that I was just rocking it. And I was in San Francisco having the time of my life. And I forgot that I was even looking for a partner. I was just having so much fun. And that was when I met him, because I wasn't attached anymore. And so, Callie, I want to, really share that wisdom with you is how can you know what you want, but also be in a place of unattachment? And because when you're attached, you're clingy and you're like needy and you're trying to get something from the outside because you don't feel like you're whole and complete within yourself. So really working on being whole and complete in yourself. And then, that's when they turn up. And when my husband turned up, I told him, I said, I'm not looking for a partner. If you're up for a good time, because I'm never going to marry you or have your kids. I'm not that kind of girl. I just want to have fun. And he was like, score, yes, because all the other women were like trying to keep him. And I was just like, I'm free, you're free, and he was like, I want you. Because I was juicy and I was, ecstatic. I was whole and complete within myself. And so that is a really big part of manifesting your partner. And it doesn't mean that you don't want your partner, because, I'm still with them, aren't I? After 25 years, since 1998. But we are very independent and we don't need each other in a clingy way. Like we're 2 pillars that stand not too close, but like this, so that we can hold up the foundation of our life. And I'm alpha female, he's alpha male, and we're like the king and queen that are walking this path together. And that's why it works. So not that we're like have the perfect relationship. I don't think perfect exists, but we have true love. And that was on the top of my list. True love was the most important thing for me and my soul path partner in life. And we have that. So again, when you're manifesting your list, I know we're doing a process and then I'm still talking, but we are in the throat chakra. So put the top 5 things that you want right at the top of your list. So, of course you can get them all. I have, but you want to really get clear on what the top 5, right at the top of what is the most important to you. And put that right up at the top. You know what? I'm going to have you do one more thing. This is another journaling prompt, is write down your crosswinds. And your crosswinds are the things that when you think about what you want, and you take a moment to think about what you want, whatever you see or feel starts to get in the way of what you're wanting. So that's a crosswind. So whatever's not moving your needle in the right direction, what's blowing, in the direction that you want to create, whatever you think that might get in the way, write that down. Whether it's I'm not good enough, or I'm not healed enough, or I'm not rich enough, or, whatever that, it's usually being enough. Whatever that is, write that down. And we're going to circle around to it, but just getting clear on whatever might be blocking you, because that's the other part. Like you're shooting an arrow at the target. If you do bow and arrow, I love archery. So when you're pointing that arrow and it goes for the target, it's like, what is getting in the way of you getting exactly what you want? And whatever is in the way is your crosswind of what's steering it off course. So write that down, because it's really important to get clear. And this is, again, why I say working with a coach, they can help you figure out what your crosswinds are, what is getting in the way. And by the way, you know, each and every one of you get a 45-minute free consult call with me, and we can dive into what might be getting in the way of you manifesting exactly what you want. So yeah, So now we're going to come down into the heart. And this is where we start to go into the feelings of what we're wanting to manifest. And this, to me, is, I mean, they're all powerful chakras. But this, you know, when we do the 7-week journey and we get into heart chakra, this is where it gets really potent and powerful. So just taking a moment to really breathe into your heart. You can even bring your hands to your heart center and start to breathe into your heart. And here's where you start to feel into having what you want. Feel into that man that you're dreaming up. Feel him holding you. Feel how it feels for you to be close with him. If it's the house, feel how it feels when you're inside your living room of your dream home. Start to feel as if whatever it is that you are manifesting is already here. And for example, I'm sitting on my porch in Island Bay, and my little dog Snowy, Starla, is sitting on the chair, and we can feel the wind because it's very windy in Wellington, and we can feel the wind moving through my hair, and Snowy's so happy to be home in New Zealand, and I can smell the salty air. So whatever it is for you, really start to feel it. So you're not just seeing it here, you're feeling it. You're feeling the wind, you're feeling the caress, you're feeling the feelings inside of you. Really start to bring that into your body. And heart chakra is about community too. So start to also feel into who in your community can be of support. Remember, like I said, it takes a community, it takes others. If I didn't have my coach, Steve, to help me manifest my partner, I don't think I would have been able to do it on my own. And sometimes it's important to know that we can't always do everything on our own. I mean, we live on a planet full of people. Of course, we need each other. I think sometimes we get so independent and so alone that we forget to reach out for others. And the heart chakra is about community. So who is your tribe? Who's your soul tribe that can help you make your dreams come true? Who's there that can guide you and support you in your manifestation? And I do want to share another story with you about heart chakra. I traveled to the States to Boston to do a training. And it's a long story, but I ended up, things didn't go exactly according to plan. And I ended up not having anywhere to go. And the women on the plane, they were so kind, because I was landing in the middle of the night, and I found out that the train and the buses were closed. And so I was landing at the airport with nowhere to go. And these women on the plane offered for me to come and stay with them, which was so beautiful and so kind. But I didn't. I was dead set on getting to where I needed to go. So I rented a car and I drove to Boston in the middle of the night, and it was pretty intense, and it was raining quite a lot. Well, I got there and I went to return the car, but the return place was like out in the middle of nowhere. It was this, like, it looked like an abandoned airport. Like there was just no one there. And I didn't know where to put the car. And then it started to rain. And I just got very stressed out, and I almost started to cry. And I thought, well, why isn't this working? Like, why is this so hard? And went into one of my pity potty stories. And I said, and then something in me said, Schamet, you're a manifester. What are you doing, hon? Just manifest. You can do this. Just close your eyes and ask for what you need. So I did that. Imagine me standing in the rain, with my laptop. I closed my eyes and I said, please, please bring someone to help me right now. Someone's going to arrive right now, and they're going to tell me where to put the key. And then they're going to drive me to where I need to go, because they already know where I need to go, because they've been there before. And they're going to be a really nice person. And all they're going to want is $5 for gas. I don't know why I manifested it like that, but that's what I did. And then I had a tap on the shoulder, and ma'am, and I opened my eyes, and this lovely man standing right before me. He says, I heard that you need to know where they put the key, and I'm here to take you to where you need to go. And tears rolled down my eyes. I said, what? Yes. I said, do you know where Kripalu is? He says, I know exactly where Kripalu is. I've been there a million times. I'm going to take you here. Let's go put the key away. Put the key away. I said, I just asked for you. And he says, I know. I said, He says, yes, I'm here to take you where you need to go. Well, he took me right to the front door of Kripalu. And I said, well, I want to give you some gas money. And he goes, oh, that would be lovely. And so I gave him $5. And he says, oh, thank you so much. It's always good to get some gas money. And he was just so kind. And on top of that, he was an angel. He talked to me the whole time about manifesting, actually, but in his own way. And there was a twinkle in his eye. And I tell you what, this stuff works, and it's so magical. I've got so many stories, but this is where I wanted to talk about it in heart chakras, because we need people. We need each other, and humans are sometimes angels. And so, write that down in your journal. Humans are angels. They're angels in human form, and they've come to help us. And we're not alone. There's always support. There's always guidance. There's always a way. And I want to just share one more story in heart chakra. I've got so many, but my mom was having a very difficult time in her life, and she no longer wanted to live. And she was in a very desperate state. So she drove herself off a bridge because she was trying to kill herself. Well, she went, did it in the middle of nowhere, but the bridge wasn't high enough. And so her car landed and all the tires went flat. And she was like, oh, for God's sakes, I can't even kill myself. Like, now the tires are flat. I'm in the middle of nowhere. And an angel came, and a man in the middle of nowhere, 3 o'clock in the morning, shows up with a tow truck, and he tows her home. He knew right where she lived. And he knew her name. She says, it was my guardian angel. And that woke her up. And she realized, because he said to her, Beverly, you have a lot of work to do on the planet. It's not your time to go. And and she wasn't trying to manifest anything here, but I just wanted to share with you right now, because I know that life is hard and there's a lot going on, but you're not alone. There are guardian angels everywhere, and you're here for a reason. Every single one of us is here for a reason. And my mom, she woke up and she went back to school. She got her master's degree in psychology, and she's a drug and alcohol counselor and a mental health social worker. And she's doing a lot of amazing things on the planet. But, in a time of need, remember that you can manifest help. I have done it again and again. I almost got jumped in San Francisco. I knew they had a gun, and I manifested like this. I just said, I need help right now. And you know what? The guy turned around to me. He put the gun in his satchel thing that he had. And he says, ma'am, it's your lucky day. You've got some angels around you. And it's like, yep, I sure do. I didn't say that out loud to him. I just smiled, but like, if you find yourself in a difficult place, you ask for help. And this is why I know the manifestation is more than just mind and body. It is soul and spirit. It is magical. And there are things that you cannot explain why they work, but they work. And they've worked for me again and again and again and again. So heart chakra, just want to really say you are not alone. I have avoided being killed. I have avoided being raped twice. I have avoided being kidnapped, like by using my manifesting abilities. Yeah, Julia.
My question is kind of twofold. Do you know what your soul origin is? What is your soul orientation that brought you into this life?
Well, I know I'm here this is my last life. I'm a last lifer, and I'm here to awaken consciousness and awaken the planet. And I have memories of being in a temple, and we're all priestesses, just like the Wonder Woman movies. Yeah. I used to say when I was a little girl that I was from the star system Sirius. So
okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. I'm a Lemurian soul.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And wonder, in the manifestation, how would we lead someone else to realize they have the opportunity to be a manifester? My daughter is denying her higher self and doing a lot of self-destructive things. And I wonder, that's probably about my biggest challenge in this lifetime, is helping her to realize that she has all the power she needs. And yet I can't talk to her about this stuff because it makes me too different than the people she's associating with. But so it's a challenge. But could I manifest? Would it be appropriate? I guess is what I want to ask, because I believe it's probably not. But maybe if I ask, maybe I'll find the answer. I cannot overpower her will.
No, you can't. Okay, but I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question. And I think this is medicine. I feel it's medicine for the whole group too. You know the saying, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't force them to drink. Well, I've led the horse to the water. I've force-fed the horse to drink, and that doesn't work. It blows up in your face. And so there is a reason for that. But, it's difficult. It's a complex situation, and I've been through it a few times.
Okay.
But here's the deal. Everyone has a life path purpose. And a spiritual teacher once told me, is it any of my business what someone else has come here to learn? It may look messy and not like what you would do, but if they've come here to learn in the way that they've come here to learn, well, then that's their need, because that's where they're at. And that was probably the wisest thing that I've ever heard in relationship to this. And, and it's helped me deal with my clients. This was a family member. And as soon as I thought, well, actually, it isn't any of my business. And those that are aligned will listen. Those that want what you have will listen. But we're all here to learn different things. And we all have different paths and different interpretations of what that looks like. And it's, again, not going into that black and white thinking, and that we have to surrender and let go of the control. Now, we can inspire. We can.
And that's what I think is right. Yeah.
We can influence. We can inspire. And pulling that energy in. And I tell you what, when I've done that, when I've just focused on my path, my journey, then people go, oh God, what's she doing? She's looking good. She's getting all the things she wants. What's she doing? I want to know. I want a little bit of that. But it not always. Like, sometimes people just, they have their path, they have their journey, and that's that. And it doesn't matter what you do or what you say. And so this is, again, the co-creative journey, and that we are all sovereign beings, and we all have our different reasons. And sometimes it takes many lifetimes. And I do believe I've been here many, many times. And sometimes we have to learn about what we want by getting a whole lot of what we don't want. And some people are not at the same place that we are, even when they're, and I know it's painful when they're family members and they're people we love, but we're all in the awakening journey. And that awakening journey is going to be different for everyone. And so we have the manifesting current, but we also have the liberating current. And the liberating current is the letting go, the surrendering, the healing journey. And the creation is more conscious creation.
Yeah.
But
that helps my clarification, because I think it's this way because I'm supposed to learn unconditional love, and that's what it is. But then I think, well, that's too easy. I'm probably missing something, and that's why I needed to ask the question. I needed a little more clarity on that. I'm not being selfish. I'm not being unloving. Or realizing it's,
what you can do. You know what you can do, though, and this is really powerful, is you can keep I get the feeling, stepping away and letting go a bit, but in your mind, what you can do, what you do have control over, is visualizing and feeling her happy and whole and complete.
And I've been doing that.
Yes.
And that's what I feel is part of the unconditional love. I don't want to take up. This is so good.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
you're welcome.
I believe I'm here as an observer, and I'm here as a protector of those who were hurt all of those years ago. Millennia ago.
Yeah.
And, I feel good about those pieces, but like you say, this one here is pretty close. And so I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I've been there with my own sister. I've got two sisters, and one is doing really well, and she's just like me, and she's a go-getter, and oh my God, she's wonderful. She's got a lovely husband, a couple kids, and she's so happy, and she's so cute, and she's a community girl, and she sells life insurance, and she's just so happy and doing so well, and I'm so proud of her. And then I have another sister that's on not such a great path, but a healer told me, is it any of your business what she's come here to learn? And it's been painful and it's been hard. My mom's a drug and alcohol counselor, but my sister's, addicted to drugs. And so it's been very, very painful. But the most important part of that whole thing was, she said, maybe she's making the connections that she needs, and maybe she's helping people that you would never even talk to. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. So I started to imagine her whole and complete and healed. And you know what? I ended up meeting a yoga teacher that looks just like her, just like her. And the yoga teacher, I went up to her and talked to her. And the yoga teacher looked at me and she says, are you holding hope for your sister? That's what you can do. And I said, oh yeah, just keep holding hope. And you know what? My sister's doing better now. Now that I'm holding hope and I've been holding her in a place of being healed, you know, she's doing a lot better. And she's found God. She's become religious, you know, and she's finding her community, and she is in a better place. It's still not, you know, what I would want for her, but it's not my life. And so this is the part where we're co-creators. We can manifest, we can hold that energy, we can hold that vision, but we also have to keep letting go and surrendering at the same time. So you can definitely keep holding her in your heart. And I think that's very powerful. And this is what we can do for the whole world. We can keep holding people and this world in our heart and keep imagining, you know, heaven on earth, and keep bringing heaven on earth and birthing heaven on earth, and knowing what we do have control over and what we don't, right? The serenity prayer goes all the way back to the serenity prayer. All right, so now moving into solar plexus. Solar plexus is, what are we doing? So take a moment again, that dream that we were working on, we're still in that process. What is it that you can do? And we've been talking a little bit about that. What is it that you can do to manifest that partner, to manifest that house, to manifest that better relationship? Like we just illustrated, it's holding someone in a place of love and wholeness and healing. Whatever it is, start to imagine and feel into it. You can even bring your hands to your womb space. You know, this is where we give birth. So just take a moment to really breathe into your womb space. This is where we hold whatever we're wanting to give birth to. So feel that in your belly. Breathe it into your belly of what you are wanting to create. And as far as building the house goes, this is where we hire the painters and we hire the builders and the architects that actually build the house. This is where it starts to get real. This is where we start to do things and make things happen. So what is it that you could do, right? So if you're wanting to meet a man, well, are you going out dancing? Do you think he's just going to show up on your doorstep? It did happen to one of my clients, I have to say, but he actually did show up on the doorstep. He was looking for a place to rent, and he ended up, she's like, Schamet, you always said he can't show up on my doorstep, but he showed up on my doorstep. So I'm not saying it can't happen. Anything can happen, but you know, getting out there, meeting people, going dancing, signing up at a dating site, like actualizing. And this is the part of, you know, the movie The Secret that people get upset about, is because people just think they can just visualize it and it's going to turn up. But what are you doing to make it happen? So start to write down whatever comes up for you in your journal of the things that you can do to actualize. And this is where the conscious creation becomes the manifestation. What can you do to make that come true? If you're wanting to start a business, maybe it's making a website. If you're wanting to work as a flight attendant, maybe it's going down and applying for the job. Like, you know, what can you actualize to make that happen? If it's going on a trip, you know, saving the money for that trip, and booking the flights. And I do believe personally that the new way of dating is the online dating apps. And I've known so many people that have been successful. So if, you know, you want to meet a person, like, I think it's brilliant. My husband and I both we're both advocates for online dating apps and things, as long as you get a good one, because now you could just put in, it's like instant manifestation. I want this and I want that. And then you get to see the photos. I mean, you get a lot of control. It's the new paradigm of dating. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. So again, it goes back to your relationship with each thing. You can have a great relationship with food, and you can have a terrible relationship with food. You can have a great relationship with social media, and you can have a terrible relationship with social media. So what is your relationship with actualizing and manifesting and making things happen? And, that's where a lot of times it all falls apart for people, is because they can dream it, but to actually build it and make it happen, this is where it sometimes it's just a castle in the sky. It's just a pie in the sky. It's just a dream. And it always remains a dream because they're unwilling to do the work to actualize it. And I know this is a big fad these days of, that you don't have to work for it, that you can just manifest it and it's just going to turn up. But sometimes, yes, that does work. But sometimes and oftentimes, no. It doesn't work exactly like that. This is where and yes, following your intuition. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you meet the right people. Thank you for putting that in the chat. And anything you want to put in the chat as I'm talking, put it in the chat. And I want to show you guys that you can save the chat too. So if you click on chat at the bottom, and you'll get 3 little dots on the right-hand side. If you click on those 3 little dots, you can actually download the chat. So this is a really, really good thing to have. And we've got all kinds of comments in here. I know some of you do have to go. I am recording this. So, so many beautiful comments in the chat. I'm not very good with reading the chat as I'm teaching, so I'll have to read it at the end. That's why I love the save chat button. So yeah, and we dive deeper into all of this in the 7-week journey. I'm really inviting all of you to join me on that 7-week journey. It's so magical and so powerful. And so, yeah, write down anything you feel like you need to do to really actualize and make the manifestation happen. And following your intuition. Intuition is so important. It's such a big part of everything I do. I teach about intuition and developing your psychic abilities too. And that's going to be another 7-week journey that I'm doing when I get back to New Zealand, Awaken the Oracle Within. So some of you might be more interested in that. They're both really important and they both work together. By the way, the Awaken the Oracle Within is more about the psychic development and the intuition, and the manifestation workshop is more about making things happen. And they both are really important. And actually, most people that have worked with me have taken both and then step into the Priestess training. And the Priestess training is a deeper dive into all of it. But and that's where all my priestesses have done the manifesting and the Awaken the Oracle Within. So all very valuable. But yes, intuition is so, so important. Always listen to your intuition, your internal navigation system. Yeah, but that's more up here, and we're coming down into solar plexus. So birthing, again, birth is messy. Life is messy. I want to really just say, get used to the mess. I have the man of my dreams. I have my soul path partner. I love him, but he challenges me so much. He is so intense, and guess what? So am I. And so be prepared to, when you do manifest your partner, I know a lot of my clients that still don't have a partner because they find the P, the princess and the P, they find the P, the reason why, not to be with that person. Put true love right at the top. If you have true love, everything else works out. But just like I said with the manifesting the house of my dreams, and then the whole foundation had to be rebuilt, right? So, and then manifesting my trip to Boston, and then, you know, arriving in the middle of the night. There's always something that doesn't go exactly the way that you thought it was going to go. And what can you do to prevent that? Of course, and that's why you're here listening to this training. But at the same time, the wisdom is sometimes with the grit, you know, the pearl in the shell. It's the grit that makes the pearl. The diamond, it's the intense pressure in the earth that makes the diamond multifaceted and bright. So when things don't go exactly according to plan, what is it that you can learn and grow from? What is your grit that is making your pearl? And if you meet that man, Kali, that is like, oh my God, he's everything on my list, but he challenges me. Well, guess what? He's probably there to help you grow. And so I just really want to put that out there because that's been my experience. I'm almost 50 and I'm a last lifer. And I'm telling you, the things that happen are all to help us grow and evolve. That's why we're here on planet Earth. So what can you do? What can you actualize to make your dreams come true? That's the solar plexus, and that's your willpower. So if you're wanting to be fit, okay, if you're wanting to be physically fit, are you going to just sit there and go, I want to be, fit? And do you think it's going to happen? No, you actually have to start lifting the weights, going on the walks, and creating some rituals and some ceremonies and being committed to your rituals and ceremonies, which is going on the walks and lifting the weights or doing whatever it is, dancing or yoga or whatever it is. Well, the same thing is with your mental health, with your mindfulness practice, with your intuition, with your psychic abilities, and with manifestation. It is a Jedi Master pathway. And to be a Jedi Master, it requires commitment, dedication, being true to yourself, actualizing, having the willpower to not eat the pizza if you're wanting to be slim and trim, right? So this is where it gets very real. How are you going to create that castle in reality? And so it's not just pie in the sky. So write that down on your list and feel that in your belly. That's where you become strong. That's where you start to actualize things. And then the next chakra is our sacral plexus. And this is the moment where I'm asking you all to break out the chocolate. If you have some chocolate there, coming into your pleasure center. And I've got my chocolate. So let's just take a moment to have a little pleasure, because if you do all that work, you got to have some time to enjoy. Because when you can enjoy this life and all the abundance that is here, and you're in a place of ecstasy, you're in a place of feeling good, the magic happens quicker and more powerful. It's kind of the opposite of what you think. Yes, you have to do the work, but then you got to turn the music up, eat the chocolate, and enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. And if you're still visualizing, I see some of you visualizing that man or that house or whatever it is, bring the pleasure into it. Bring the fun into it. Start to feel into your body, move your body a little bit in a place that makes you feel really good. And so as you're visualizing that man, or you're visualizing that house, or you're visualizing whatever it is, start to find the pleasure in it. That place of feeling good, place of enjoyment. I know some of you have just come on, so you're hearing different parts of my this manifestation process that we're on. So welcome for all of you that are just coming on. We've been going through a journey through the chakras, and now we're getting ready to give birth. In this place, we find the pleasure and the celebration of the journey. of the process. And again, it's a place of surrender, a place of letting go, and a place of acceptance of what is. And this oftentimes can be hard for people because they want what they want, how they want it. But starting to really enjoy the journey and the process of becoming a Jedi Master and learning from the grit and the pearl. Yeah, reminds me of I was teaching this manifestation workshop in New Zealand a few years ago, and I had everyone do vision boards. And so we all made a vision board, and I made one too. And I put on there my dream car, which is a white Mini Countryman. I love them so much because they have circles, and I love circles because it's the goddess, and they have the chakra colors that all the lights, and they turn all the different colors of the chakras. And so I went, because I teach manifesting, I put it on my vision board, and I went and I test drove one. So here's the pleasure, right? I didn't have the money for the car, but I just wanted to drive it because I wanted to feel it. I wanted to feel how it feels to drive the car. And then I really fell in love with it. And then I was very attached, and it was hard not to be attached to wanting that car because it was like the perfect car for me. I was like, and I didn't know it had chakra lights. So I was like, oh my God, it's like a woman circle, everything circles, and it's got chakra lights. Like, it's my car. I love it so much. And oh, I love driving it. Oh, it was such a pleasure. And so, this is where I invite you. If there's something that you're wanting, go and test drive the car. Go to open homes and look at homes like what you're wanting to visualize. Start to really enjoy, like, bringing it in and feeling it. If it's that man, maybe start cutting out pictures in magazines of how you want him to look and start putting it on your vision board. I have one of my clients did that, and she's getting closer and closer to knowing exactly what she wants. And so, yeah, just start to do that. Like, that's really powerful. So I have this car, this white Mini, on my vision board. Now, here's the part where I just forgot all about it. And we moved to Sweden, and my husband's like, okay, we need to get a car. And I was like, yep. So I'm looking at cars, and I'm looking at family cars, and looking at all these different cars. And I said to the guy that worked there, I said, I'm looking for this, and this is my budget, and I want this and this and this and this. And he goes, oh, I have the perfect car for you. I said, oh, great. And it's in my budget. He said, yes, it is. It's actually a lot lower than your budget, and it's everything on your list. I said, oh, wonderful. And I'm thinking he's going to pull out this like magical car from hidden somewhere that I'm not seeing. And he goes right to a white Mini, and the white Mini was sitting there the whole time. I didn't even see it, because I had in my belief system that I couldn't afford it. It was out there. It was a dream. It was on my vision board, but I couldn't yet afford the car. So I did not even see what was right in front of my face. And again, remember, I teach in stories, so there's a lot of wisdom here. Didn't see it because my belief, this is another big part, is what are our beliefs? What do we believe about what we want, what we're creating? I didn't even see the car. It was right in the middle of the showroom. It was right in front of me. And I looked at him and I said, oh, I can't afford that car. He says, yes, you can. I said, really? Oh my goddess. Oh, it's my dream car. He says, it's your dream car? Well, you can have it. He said, according to what you've shown me, it's below, you're going to save money. I said, oh my God. He goes, do you want to test drive it? I said, oh, yes, I do. Of course I do. So drove the car around. I was like, oh my God. So it just turns out that minis in Sweden are a lot cheaper than minis in New Zealand. So it ended up like they're everywhere here. And it ended up just being totally affordable. And I ended up driving away with my dream car and saving money in the process. And it was incredible. And it was magical. And it really opened up my perception to when we believe a certain thing, we may not see that we can have what we want. And we are standing in our own way. according to our beliefs. And it was amazing to me that I didn't even see the car. Like I didn't even see it. I was looking for a family car, affordable, and I was blind to what was right in front of me because of my belief system. And the look on that guy's face, he's like, "You're gonna save money." I hugged him. I said, "Oh my God." And I got my Mini and I love it. I love it so much. Such a great little car. And so remember that your beliefs, and I'm trained in being a belief coach. Like I did the training and that's what I do now. that is what prompted me that moment. I was like, oh my goodness, beliefs are so important. So I went and got the training to become a belief coach. And I believe that beliefs shape our reality. They shape our reality in such a powerful way that we don't even realize sometimes. Because when you have a belief, it like that is then what you see. That's what you know. And when you start to open that up and change your beliefs, the whole world opens up to you and you see things that you never saw before, and things become possible. Now I know everything is possible. Everything. And I am unstoppable. I am a firm believer in possibility. When someone tells me something can't be done, I'm already finding a way how to do it. And yeah, very, very powerful. So here we are going down from pleasure into birthing what we are going to give birth to. And this is where it does get really messy. And again, I can't reiterate enough about the manifestation process and journey, that it can, bring up a lot of stuff. It can bring up a lot of emotion. It can bring up a lot of fear. It can bring up a lot of excitement. And, and sometimes it's just like, with my house story, it's like, oh my God, I got everything on my list, even the view, like, wow. But then the foundation needed to be rebuilt. And it was a lot of work and it was expensive, but we did it. And now we have our dream home. And so that's where you're committed to the journey and the process. And you're committed even when it gets a bit messy. And then if it ends up being a manifestation, that you get into this deal and you're like, oh, actually, maybe this is not for me. That's okay too, because that is going to be a mirror and a reflection to show you what you really truly want. And then you can, just like a Jedi master, get better and better and better and better about your manifestation. So I'm going to just look at the chat here. I say I always find what I'm looking for, therefore always look for the good. That's so true. Yes. I just follow my intuition. It takes me to places where I meet the right people. Yes. Oh, and Christina's a last lifer too. Yay. I'd like to stay, but okay, someone had to go. I laugh because the same thing has happened to me. Do I continue the healing inner child process while working on manifesting? That's a great question. Yes, always continue to heal. I am still healing parts of my inner child. I don't think the healing process and the healing journey ever really stops. I don't think you get to a place where you go, I'm healed. I think it's more like a spiral and an onion with layers. And the healing work that I've done has spiraled, and it's come to a depth. There's always more things to heal. But I know that I'm in a place now where I can manifest. And I don't need to just, like I did when I was younger, I had to just stop manifesting for a year, and I just stopped and took a break and committed myself to my healing journey. So I would say this is a question you have to ask yourself, because you need to know where you're at. If you start to notice that you are manifesting situations that are not very good for you, and they're really painful and really messy, well, then maybe taking a break from manifesting and focusing on your healing work and your healing journey. That's what I did. I did that for 1 year. I stopped dating And I just worked on healing my inner child, healing my trauma, working with counselors, coaches, healers, doing all kinds of workshops. And yeah, I just focused on healing. And I'm so glad I did that. Like it was a quantum jump in my healing journey. And then I was able to manifest my life partner, the man of my dreams. Like he was just like the most gorgeous human being I'd ever laid eyes on. And I still think he's so handsome and so gorgeous. And he's my soulmate. He's my, my life partner. And so, I think that it's worth waiting for to focus on your healing journey. But you can always educate yourself about manifesting. Like, yeah, I'm going to promote myself here. Step into the 7-week journey of manifesting, equip yourself with knowledge, wisdom, whether you train with me or you train with someone else, get training, get help, get support, work with a guide, work with a coach, work with a healer, work with several. Do everything you can to raise your frequency, raise your vibration, which is facing your shadow, facing your blocks, facing your trauma. This is the biggest part of manifesting, is that when you work on yourself, you heal yourself, and you become whole and complete and happy within yourself, then you're going to be even more powerful of a Jedi Master at manifesting. And so wanted to talk about the self-love and self-marriage retreat that's coming up, that is starting in December. This is going to be a really powerful online retreat. It's $199, and I'm going to send that out as well. I think that are most of you on my newsletter, getting my newsletter? Yeah. So I'll put it in the chat anyways, but the self-love and self-marriage retreat will be amazing. Anything you can do to heal your inner child. And let's see, I'll put that in there. So all of it will be on my website. And for everyone that's here on this call, if you send me a private message, and I'm going to put my email on here too. You send me a private message and you say that you were at this, that you were here with me today, then I'm going to include a one-on-one with me as well. So the self-love and self-marriage retreat is $199. It's with a good friend of mine and colleague, Emmy Mutali. She's amazing. She's a womb priestess and healer. She's beautiful. Her and I do very similar work. We're very aligned. I love her. She's such a kind, beautiful person, and we work really well together. Like, there's a lot of magic that happens between us. So it's going to be a really powerful, powerful weekend. And so if you sign up for that, then you'll also get a one-on-one with me, which is valued at $230 US. And then I can, focus on anything that comes up, because things always come up in retreats. That's where you really take time for yourself. If anything comes up, then you can work one-on-one with me. And, this healing journey is something that I believe in 100%. And the more that you heal yourself, the more that you're going to have exactly what you want. And I'd love to guide you all on that journey. And I know some of you have been working with me, and it's been so wonderful. I love doing this work. I had one of my clients, this is a total success story, but she was in a really abusive relationship. And within 2 sessions with me, 2 one-on-ones, she let go of that relationship, learned what she needed to learn from it, and manifested her life partner. And they're still together after 3 years, and he's so lovely. And I said to her, oh, I just keep getting this because I'm psychic, you know, I kept getting this like, oh, he's a gentle giant. And she says, oh my God, Schamet, he is. That's what I call him. He's my gentle giant. I said, you did it. She says, I've done it. I said, oh, honey, I'm so happy for you. And so, you know, this is why I do this work, is when I work with people and can just help kind of guide them, steer them in the right direction, or not right, but aligned, you know, in an aligned direction. She got out of this abusive relationship, manifested the man of her dreams, and is so freaking happy. And that lights me up. Like, this is why I do this work. And I'm very passionate about it because I want people to be happy and have what they want. I think that's why we live here. Like, I believe that we can have our cake and eat it too. That's why you have cake. It's because you're supposed to eat it. All those people that say you can't have your cake and eat it too. No, that's what cake's for. You're supposed to eat the cake and enjoy the cake. So going back to that pleasure, like it's meant to be pleasurable. It's meant to be enjoyable. That doesn't mean it'll be a little bit challenging from time to time, but you always get the reward. We built the foundations of our home, and then we had our dream home, and we still have our dream home. So I'm not saying it doesn't come with challenges. I want to add one more thing that I'm just really feeling like is really important for you all to know, is that, you know, some of my clients have said, oh God, am I responsible for the death of a family member because they weren't getting along with that family member? And no, that's where, no, you cannot kill someone with your mind. And that is not a, I don't believe in that kind of responsibility. When someone dies, it's because they're meant to go, and they have a contract that has nothing to do with you. And that is, you know, something I want to bring up, because I've had a few clients that have gone, oh my God, you know, I was not in a good state with this person or that person, then something happened to them, and then they take it on like it's their fault because of the responsibility thing that we were talking about before, Julia. You know, yes, we want to take responsibility. However, we never take responsibility for death or illness of another human being. That is, we're not that powerful. Like, you know, I know, you know, there's certain like voodoo and things like that where they believe that you are, but I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to that. And if there's anything that comes up like that for you, just know that people have contracts of how long they're going to be here. And that has nothing to do with you, and you cannot change that. And does anyone have any question around that? Because that is it's a very big one for a lot of people. I'm happy to answer any questions. No? Does anyone have any questions at all about anything at this point? Because we've covered a lot of ground. I have found, for me personally, getting around people that have a lot of belief in possibility has really helped me. You know, so I surround myself with people that do believe in magic, do believe in possibility. You know, I surround myself with communities that do open my mind and fill myself with the possibility. And if I'm around people that are like, you know, doomsayers and things like that, I don't want to hang out with those people. And so I think a big part of is surrounding yourself with community where they can open the doors to possibility. And when, I don't know about you, but when I see people doing things that I didn't realize was possible, all of a sudden it becomes very possible. And another story that I'll share with you is in relationship to this, is I went to the Netherlands and I left my laptop on the train. I had put it under the seat, and I got off the train and it was just gone. And so, you know, I could have been like, oh, it's gone. Because of where I'm at now in my belief, I just went, I'm going to get my laptop back. I visualized it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it. I did everything, but I also did all the action steps, and I kept following it up. And, you know, they found it, then they told me where to pick it up. Then I went, they were closed, and then they delivered it somewhere else. And then they said, well, we're going to have to ship it to you to Sweden. I said, no, no, no. And the guy kept saying, he said 7 times in a row that it's not possible for me to come and get it in this mystery warehouse that had no address, where they took it. And there's, you know, protocols in Europe, Sweden, and Netherlands, where they do it in a certain way. And this is how it's done. And there's no other way. And he kept saying that it was not possible. And I held the possibility. I was like a dog with a bone that was not going to give it up. And, you know, I'm very determined when I decide I'm going. And I told him, I said, you've told me 7 times that it's not possible for me to come and get it, that it's in this mystery warehouse, but I'm telling you, I'm not leaving the Netherlands without my laptop, and I'm on my way, and I'm going to find the building. And so get ready for me. I'm coming. And I did. And I found the building. And it was hard, and I had to walk and walk and walk. And I had no idea where this building was. And I had to just keep asking people. And I asked for angels to help me, and angels came in the form of humans, nice young men, very good looking young men too. That was really fun. I had a pleasurable experience. 2 very good looking men that were like so helpful. And I said, you are angels. And they're like so sweet. And they, because they spoke Dutch, so they just kept asking everyone, do you know where this building is? Do you know where this building is? And they stayed with me for an hour and a half, complete strangers, and they were angels, and they helped me. And it gave them pleasure to be helpful too. You know, I want to remind everyone that people want to help you. People want to be of service. It gives them purpose. You know, they had a purpose. They had a mission all of a sudden. And so they were like little superheroes, you know, they were like 22, 23, you know, and they all of a sudden had this divine purpose of helping this woman. And everyone I met along the way, I ended up having an exchange that was magical. And it was an initiation again into being unstoppable and not allowing, you know, other people to dictate or tell you what the reality is. This is the new paradigm. We're creating it. We can be unstoppable, and we can make things happen that everyone else around us is saying it's not possible. Well, you find a way under the wall, over the wall, around the wall. You either break the wall down or you find a doorway through the wall. And, you know, that's something I've been saying for years, and I've been saying to all my clients. And then I read it in a book when I got home from the Netherlands, in Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within, which my Priestess training is Awaken the Priestess Within. So Tony Robbins is definitely like a spiritual dad for me. And a lot of the things that he says, I've been saying for years, but, you know, that it's because it's true. You know, this world is full of possibility. The only things that get in our way is us sometimes. And if there is an obstacle, like, you know, sometimes there are systems, and I was prepared to let my laptop go. I was prepared that if indeed I could not find this warehouse, then I would have to surrender. And so at the same time that I was determined and like an arrow going in the direction of what I was going to manifest and unstoppable, at the same time, I was also in a place of total surrender. And this is the other key to manifesting successfully, is you need to be prepared to let go. You have to be prepared to surrender. Otherwise, you're in a world of hurt and misery and pain, because sometimes it doesn't go the way that we think. But I tell you what, every single time there's been a reason, there's been a learning, there's been wisdom. And so remembering that everything happens for a reason, absolutely everything, even the horrible stuff. I've had some horrible things happen in my life that I go, and this upset the apple cart for me for a while, because I was like, hang on, I'm so powerful at manifesting. why am I not getting what I want? And then I thought, well, God, I'm being a little bit of a brat, aren't I? Thinking I can just have anything and everything all the time. Like sometimes it is actually in our highest and best good, because that's where the wisdom is. That's where the growth is. That's what turns us into being these kind of spoiled little, like, I want, right? To a woman of wisdom. And a wisdom of true power, which is aligning ourselves with the highest and best good. And you're right about the ship that they didn't see. You know, I believe it's important to be able to see, but sometimes it is that in the not seeing certain things that the wisdom comes from the not seeing as well. So it's both. Does that answer your question? It's a tricky one.
It is because you know, as you say, everything happens for reasons, and sometimes we need to learn a lesson, and it's for the purpose of giving us wisdom, resilience, strength, making us stronger, opening up the mind, whatever the reason is. And yeah. Some,
when you watch The Matrix, you know, I love The Matrix and Keanu Reeves, you know, every time he gets stronger and stronger, he in that movie is like a Jedi master, right? Of manifesting. And sometimes things don't go the way that he's wanting them to go, but that's also part of his wisdom journey. And so, you know, I firmly believe in that. I've had just so much happen where, you know, it doesn't go exactly according to plan. However, like what I said with my mom, her watching that show and my exact birth story, and my birth story was very particular. It wasn't a general, like happens to everyone kind of story. Like it was very particular. And what she watched was exactly like, she was crying. She was like, oh my goodness, honey, I knew there was a reason, but I need to just reflect back to you that it happened exactly the way that it was meant to. And, you know, and sometimes it's hard, you know, when we don't get exactly what we want, but we always get what we need. I got exactly what I needed. And that was a healthy, beautiful baby boy that, oh my goodness, I love so much. Now, I teach this more in the Awaken the Oracle Within training. But, you know, sometimes things do happen, and there's a show that I want to share with all of you called Manifest that I'm watching right now on Netflix. It's so freaking good. I recommend you all to watch it. It's so good. And I love it because it's called Manifest, and they have psychic abilities, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert, but you got to watch it. It's so good. But, you know, sometimes we do have visions, and I've had many, that I can then change the course of the outcome. And that's why we have visions, is that we can then, I had this really powerful vision of someone dying. And then because I knew exactly how they were going to die, I started to change the course of that. And I did. I shifted the reality. I shifted the timeline. Why do you think we have these visions? It's so we can do something about it. And that's what Manifest is about. So manifesting is an amazing superpower to have. And it goes hand in hand with intuition and psychic abilities. That's why I always say, you know, take both trainings with me, because you'll get very, very good with your intuition, psychic abilities, clairvoyant abilities, and manifesting. And the manifesting is when then you can start to shift and change the timeline. So to answer your question is, when you do this work, you get better and better at seeing the pattern, seeing the writing on the wall, seeing beneath the veil, so that you can then make different choices so that you consciously create a better existence for yourself. And I know that to be true because I've been doing it for years, and it's powerful. It's really powerful. So you want to get to a place where you see that ship so that you can be equipped and be several steps ahead. You don't want to be in a place where you don't see, you know, the man coming for your children, for example. You want to be aware so that you can avoid certain timelines. Does that make sense?
Yes, that, well, being able to see something in advance to prevent it, that has happened once or twice.
Happened to me a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Powerful. It's really powerful. Yeah, I remember was watching a friend's dog, and I had a dream that the dog died, and luckily she listened to me. I said, just keep the dog in for the next week and a half. Just keep the dog in. Don't, you know, and she did, and the dog was okay. But I just know that if she would have let the dog out, the dog was going to die, you know. And so we can't, there's a reason why we have these abilities. There's a reason why we have these gifts. So listen to your intuition. Keep following your intuition. It's your guiding light. It's your internal navigation system. It's there for a reason. So definitely don't ignore it. Yeah, is there any other questions? It's a lot to digest. I know it was a lot. How's everyone doing? Good. Good. All right. So write down on in your journal all the steps to actualize and bring into existence what you're wanting to manifest. What is your birth plan? And we have a bowl of salt. Oh, good. I'm glad this was helpful. We got a bowl of salt and we're going to use it. Anything that you feel is standing in your way, any crosswinds, any stinking thinking, any belief systems that you have that you know is getting in your way, write that down on a little piece of paper. And maybe you've got several. Write them down and then crumple up the little piece of paper and put it in your bowl of salt. My little bowl of salt at. Put it in your salt. And you're going to bury it in the salt. And then you're going to put it on your altar. And if you don't have an altar, create an altar. And I brought one to show you. This one's my little traveling one. I have it on a plate. And I got all my little things, you know, love, the butterfly, all my important little things, my angel. But building an altar, a place of manifesting. Your crystals. I've got some feathers to represent freedom. I've got a little piece of New Zealand power shell here. You know, whatever is important to you. I got my little fun, playful guy for fun. Not take myself too seriously. Got to be playful. And then with your salt, you know, you're going to put that in the middle. And with your pieces of paper of the things that you know are getting in the way, and salt is very purifying. So as it sits there in the salt, it starts to purify the energy. And this really works. I've been doing this for years and it's so powerful. You know, it's part of the intention setting, but I believe in this in ceremony and ritual. It's a big part of everything I do. I'm a priestess and I've had some big shifts and changes. And salt baths are another thing that you can be doing for yourself. Not only having all those things that you want to let go of and purify sitting in the salt and just leave it there. And in time, you know, you can go back and look at the little piece of paper, you know, maybe in 3 months time, And then you look at it and you go, oh, it's gone. I'm not there anymore. And it's really magical. It's really powerful. So that's just a little trick that I do. And then the other thing that we're going to do right before we head off is take a big sheet of paper and just start to write down anything that you need to release, anything that's getting in your way, any crosswinds, any blocks, anything at all. And this is where you get to be really candid. You can swear, okay? This is why I say crayons are really good. Just write it down, write it big, write it bold, say all the curse words that you need to, all the dark, horrible things that you don't want anyone else to read. Just, we're going to take a few moments for you to write all that down. And don't worry, we're not going to read it. What I'm going to have you do is burn it. This is called a write and burn. So you're going to burn it. And if you got a lot inside, you've got a lot, then you need to keep doing these write and burns so you can release it. You don't want all that stuff trapped inside of you. You want to keep releasing it and letting it go and surrendering it. I've had clients have to do, write and burns every day for 30 days if they need to get it all out. Because you don't want that energy sitting inside your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. You want to release it. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, you got to release it somehow. Write and burns are really powerful. Write it all down. And then do a little ceremony after we leave today and burn it. And as you burn it, start to release it. Do a dance afterwards. Dance around the house. Release it out of your body, out of your mind, out of your heart, so you can keep raising your vibration and healing. Wonderful. So nice to have you guys here with me today. Aw. So nice to see you, Kelly. Aw. Some of you got a lot to write down, huh? Yeah. Yeah, write and burns are really powerful. The salt is really powerful. Those are a couple tools for you guys to do. So let's go ahead and start to close the circle. So if we just take a moment to close our eyes, and take a moment for gratitude. So much gratitude for each and every one of you. So much gratitude for this time and space. So much gratitude for Zoom, that we can connect even when we're in different countries. Let's take a moment for complete gratitude. Gratitude is a very big part of manifestation. Being so grateful for all that we have. Being so grateful, just like when we give birth and it's messy and, blood and pain and all this stuff happens during birth. For those of you that have children, you know exactly what I mean. And sometimes we have an orgasmic birth, but most of the times it's still pretty messy. But then we have the baby in our arms. So this is the moment where I invite you to have that baby in your arms, that man that's holding you, that house that you're sitting in, that new job that you have, that relationship that is healed, whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest. Maybe it's joy. Maybe you just want to be joyful and happy in your heart. Maybe that's what you want to manifest. So take a moment and, like a baby that you're holding, hold that joy in your heart. Hold whatever it is that you wrote down on that list at the beginning of this journey. And take a moment to hold that in your heart, in your mind. Now, and you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. or you can hug yourself and hold yourself. Just take a moment to visualize and feel the pleasure of having exactly what you want. And I shared with you earlier that I'm sitting on my porch in New Zealand. I can hear the crickets. I can feel the wind. And my little dog Snowy is sitting next to me on her chair, a little favorite chair she loves to sit on. And we're looking at Island Bay. And then I'm in my healing room and I'm getting on Zoom and I'm seeing all of your lovely faces actually from New Zealand. I'm showing you my island outside my window. I'm saying, yay, I'm here. So whatever it is for you, start to feel it, start to see it, start to celebrate it with every cell in your being. And if it's that man, maybe you can smell him. Yeah, this is where it gets really powerful. There was this man that did a rain dance, and a story about how he was out there, and the guy said to him, "Aren't you going to do the rain dance?" He says, "I've already done it." He says, "What do you mean you've already done it?" He says, "Yeah, I closed my eyes and I could feel the rain. I could feel it landing on my shoulders, on my arms. I could feel the wetness. I could smell it. I could smell the rain. And I could see the rain and I could feel the rain and I could smell the rain. And then I opened my eyes and then there was the rain." And he says, "But you never did a dance." He said, "I did a dance inside." Do your dance inside. It doesn't mean you have to get up there and do a big rain dance. Like, what's the dance inside of you? How is that feeling? What do you see? What do you feel? And then take a moment for gratitude. Show your gratefulness for what is coming. Thank you, angels, guardians, guides. Thank you, spirit team. Thank you for hearing our prayers. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this moment in time for us to come together. And then just take a moment to move your body and maybe even make a little noise. Noise of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bringing your hands together in prayer. Thank you for hearing our prayers. Thank you for hearing our wants, our needs. Thank you for the blessings of this life. So much gratitude, so much love. And gently opening your eyes, coming back to the room. A really big part of it that I believe in all my heart and soul is that I am so grateful. Every day I practice gratefulness. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is have a gratitude prayer. Everything I'm grateful for. Every evening at dinner, my family and we have a gratitude prayer, and the kids say what they're grateful for. I say what I'm grateful for. My husband, and it's before we're allowed to eat, we have to be grateful. And it's a practice, a spiritual practice that we do I do every morning, and then my family does in the evening. And I mean, my kids are 9 and 12, so I have to kind of make them do it, but I'm instilling in them to have a practice of gratitude. And it's become really fun. You know, my kids are like, oh, I'm so grateful for Dad, or I'm so grateful for cheeseburgers, and, you know, and so make it fun, but make it part of your everyday practice. So you really start to create those neural pathways in your brain, in your heart, in your routines, your ceremonies, your rituals, and then those grooves. You know, this is NLP. The grooves start to become stronger and stronger. So you start to open the possibility of things becoming and being. And so keep practicing that. And every time you have that stinking thinking, write and burn it, write down what you need to purify, put it in the salt. And I wish you all the best for your journey. Let's blast everyone with some healing energy. If you just put your hands up like this, and you know, this is where you kind of straighten your spine out a little bit so you can feel the energy move through your body. We're just going to blast everyone with some energy and some love, good energy, happiness, health, wealth, prosperity. May all of your dreams come true. May you, each and every one of you, take all of this wisdom that was downloaded today and take it and apply it to your lives. And then, you know, I ask each and every one of you, as you manifest your most abundant life, like, pass that magic on to someone else. It can be someone that's working at the grocery store, someone that's at the hardware store, at the post, you know, anywhere, and bring a little magic, especially if it's someone that's a bit grumpy and not in a good space. You never know what's going on for them. They might have had a death in the family. I remember we went for a walk one day, and there was somebody that was just so grumpy, and he was so mean to me. And I was like, oh, that's so terrible. But you know what? He just had 2 friends get murdered, and he was having such a hard time. And so you never know what's going on for people, of why they're so grumpy and why they have the bad energy that they do. So maybe you can bring a little magic to them and brighten somebody's day. So now that you've been here giving yourself what you need and all this beautiful energy, all this healing energy, I ask for you to pass it on to someone that needs it. And you know what happens when you start giving and being abundant? You know, when you're living your most abundant life, your cup gets filled up, and then you have so much more to pass on to the people that have empty cups. And so that's my request. I've given this few hours to you to fill up your cups. Pass it on. Yeah, and this is how we create and birth the new paradigms. Just keep on filling up your cup, and then helping fill others' cups that might be completely empty, and they don't even know how to fill up their cup. They don't even know their cup's empty. Right? Yeah, thank you. Oh, such good energy. You're all so beautiful. Each and every one of you were meant to be here with me today. Each and every one of you is a light, a beacon of love and light and hope on the planet. Keep shining bright. Keep being unstoppable. Keep doing what you need to do to be the light and the beacon of hope and love, and living your most abundant life on every level, and keep passing on the torch to others. And I'm sending you so much love and so many abundant blessings on your awakening journey. Namaste. Aww. And Pete, I'm glad that you came, even though it was just right at the end. Yeah. You know, the answer to your question, I want to speak just a little bit more into that, is you can start, you know, taking salt baths is a good one. And as you lay in the like Epsom salt, just from the grocery store, it doesn't need to be expensive. You can buy the cheap stuff. Epsom salt's great. I just buy the cheap stuff. And you lay in the salt bath and you just start saying again and again, like a mantra, anything and everything that does not belong to me, I send back with love. Anything and everything that doesn't belong to me, I send back with love. And as the salt purifies you, but it also starts to release the energy that's not yours. Now, what is still there? It's yours. If it's still there and it's still there and it's still there, then that's yours to process. And that's your mirror to do the work. And then when you do the work, it will leave. But that's a really powerful one to do. And you just keep doing it. And we did a salt ritual too. It's just a bowl of salt and you write down, I had this issue with this other human being that it all happens to teach us. There's always a lesson, there's always wisdom, there's always learning. So I had a very challenging person in my life that I was learning a lot from. And I wrote down what I needed to release on this little piece of paper. And I put it in the salt and it took 3 months, but after 3 months, it was gone. And the whole energy shifted and I learned exactly what I needed to learn because salt is very purifying. There's a reason that everything happens to us. So whatever relationship, heartbreak, whatever happens, we're not victims. It feels like it sometimes. And I'm not saying there are no victims because it can feel that way and it can be that way. But at the same time, there's always a learning, there's always a teaching, there's always a lesson of why something is happening. And everything that's happened to me has taught me so much. And so it's figuring out what it is that you're learning through this heartbreak, through this really hard time, and then releasing the energy that's around it. So I would say right now, purifying, doing the salt baths, doing the salt ritual. And then you can also start cutting the cords. That's more complex though. And I don't have time to get into that right now. But if you wanted to see me for a one-on-one, what I'm offering everyone that turned up here, if you sign up for the self-love and self-marriage retreat or the 7-week journey through manifesting your most abundant life, then you get a free one-on-one with me, which is worth $230. And I'm happy to work with you on cutting the cords. And it feels very deep. It feels like it could even be past life stuff and stuff from childhood. So I work on all that really deep layers. So I'm hoping that's helpful. You can also sign up for a free 45-minute consult with me where we just meet and just see if we're aligned to work together. So I put in the chat, if you click on the chat there, and on the 3 little dots, you click on that and you can download the chat, and I've put my information in there. I'll put it in again too. Yeah, and I'll put my email too again. Yeah, there we go. I love cutting cords and releasing all that stuff that's getting in the way. So I'm really happy to do that work with you. But it's late here in Sweden and I've got to go to bed. Ah, so nice to see all of you. Thank you, Julia, for sharing your wisdom, and Callie, and nice to meet you, Pete, and seeing you, Anita, and all of you. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was such a wonderful time. So nice to see all of you and meet you and connect in this way. I always have a hard time saying goodbye, but I'm going to say aloha. I will see you again.